Hello, welcome to Buildable Podcast in San Francisco. My name is Clement. I'm one of the hosts here. I'm super excited to have two incredible people that I've had the opportunity to work with and collaborate with here in San Francisco. And they're going to be joining us today to, talk about everything on Buildable, what we're doing in the podcast, and basically some of the fun stuff that we talk about, the ideas we talk about here. Without further ado, I'm going to do a formal introduction of them. But before I do that, I would love you guys to hear from them and also hear from the mouthpiece, like what they've been doing in this space. Welcoming Aaron and Hendrik. Welcome to Buildable.
Thank you very much for having us here.
So, Aaron, you want to say something about yourself? And then after you're done, we can move to Hendrik.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess, hi, I'm Aaron. I'm a developer experience engineer at Upvoting. I've been doing UI, UX design work for a little bit over 3 years now. I guess I started my career as a mechatronics engineer, and then I shifted over to a little bit more on the AI space. I work here with Hendrik as well. I've been working with him since 2 years, a little bit over 2 years now. So it's pretty cool. And yeah, super excited to be here.
Great to have you, man. Yeah, my name is Hendrik. I have the pleasure of leading the AI product line at Upvoting. Been doing a lot around product innovation with Aaron together in our work over the past years. And before that, I've been the developer advocate at Upvoting, so very much about building developer community. And through my work there, I think I've just been too stubborn to insist on certain features that we wanted to have in our product based on the feedback that I've been getting on the community, which then led to me taking on this role, which I think is very exciting. So great to be here.
Some fun facts and fact sheets about Aaron and Hendrik. So talking about Aaron Jimenez, Aaron is a developer experience engineer at Upvoting. He's a mechatronics engineer with entrepreneurial roots and has strong focus in translating early stage concepts into operational businesses. He also has a deep passion about UI design, graphic design, and creative expression. He also has a bachelor in mechatronics from the University of the Incarnate, Texas, San Antonio. And he also holds a master's in international business at Hort International Business School. Right now, he's working at Upvoting as a DevX engineer where he aligns AI with product roadmaps, focusing on UI, UX, product vision, and business development. He's also the co-founder of Investable, a thriving AI community that was built to help with events and education, and also now lead with the development of an AI-powered simulation platform. Hendrik Krack is an AI product manager and the lead developer advocate at Upvoting. He's a product manager and AI engineer, blending deep technical experience with product market fit. He's also the co-founder of Investable, which is an AI education initiative and one of the co-creators of Hot AI Society. He is a former NXP semiconductor engineer and researcher, worked on RF and UWB technology, which is an interface cancellation, radar validation, and embedded C. He holds a master's in international business and business analytics at Hort, as well as a bachelor's in mechatronics at Hamburg University of Technology. Some of the notable experience that Hendrik has is AI PM at Upvoting and a dev advocate, and also one of the co-founders and CTO at Sparky. All right, so thank you, Hendrik. Thank you, Aaron. Really nice. I mean, before we kind of started talking about this podcast, bringing you guys here, one of the key things that really caught my attention with you guys is how you build products. And here at Buildable, it's literally one of the things we're trying to do. The whole idea of Buildable is, figuring out an idea that really seemed to be a very perfect idea, like an idea that can work. However, we want to be able to dissect all of the necessary things that is involved in making an idea to be, productive, right? Like, it's one thing to have an idea, but another thing to execute the idea or make that idea to be a product market fit, to be investable, to be sellable, to have some form of interest to the market that you're looking out for. And that's one of the things that we're doing at Buildable. Now, I know you guys have done quite a lot of amazing work here in the Bay Area, starting from, creating communities, really, really active communities in the AI community here. And you have different experiences in product management, design, engineering and stuff like that. Hendrik travels to probably all over the world, doing stuff around communities. Same thing with Aaron. So here we're going to talk about first, some of the experience you guys have had, in building communities, right? And because community in itself is a product. If you really look at it, right, it's a product in itself, right? So we would like to hear your thoughts about like your experience so far, how you built a thriving community here in the Bay Area, and what you've experienced so far as you've kind of like gone along that way, that journey. I'll start with Aaron, and then we can go to Hendrik.
So I think that the first community that we built together was the Holt AI Society. And it started back when we first arrived at Holt and began our journey into our master's program. It was like a little experiment that we wanted to run together because we both shared this deep passion for education and for AI. You know, like we arrived first time here to San Francisco and we knew that we wanted to be deeply involved in this ecosystem. But we also knew that, you know, there was like a huge gap between all the students that were coming in and even the professors, like how they were upskilling themselves and preparing for this new fundamental shift that was happening here, like all around the world because of AI. So we just decided to, you know, we said like, you know what, like let's just start throwing events together. Let's try to bring the community together and like just have like an open conversation about AI to help better prepare like the students and professors all together. So I think like our first event was with Spotify, the Spotify guy. Yeah, maybe Hendrik can give us more information about who he was.
Yeah, no, I think well said. And by the way, what a great space to talk about community here at the Berlin House, probably the most notebook community in San Francisco.
Yeah. By the way, they are one of our sponsors. Which is actually,
thank you very much for that. No, big shout out. Great story. I think the lean way really here is about that we tried to build a community around knowledge sharing. So that was 2023. AI was still, you know, somehow new, at least to the world. And even here in San Francisco, in the heart of the Silicon Valley, people were craving to be part of that wave, and not everybody was feeling like they would be able to contribute and really be part of it, in that sense that many people just didn't quite know where to start. Many people didn't know how to keep up. So there was this demand, and we talking about product market fit, we saw that and we thought like, okay, let's do something about this. And I think there's one great attribute that the Bay Area really has, which is this idea of giving forward. So the Bay Area itself is already a big community in itself, where everybody that works here is very excited about sharing what they're working on and helping other people out with what they have accomplished so far. And we've been very good at nurturing that momentum by just going out to events, talking to people and telling them about the mission, what we want to do, which was all around sharing the knowledge. And we've met amazing people who are just willing to come to our university campus, come to talk to our humble beginnings, which was like a room full of 30 students at the time. And the very first event was with one of the principal machine learning engineers from Spotify, making an amazing presentation only with AI generated images about how he moved into AI and visualizing the projects that he did at Spotify. And I never forget the way he defined AI through this really interesting game where you set a starting point and then it connects a certain number of dots automatically, you remember? And he just really described the idea of how you can never really tell if something is AI or if it's alive or not. And that was such a visual impression that I think really impressed everyone so much that we just hit it off the top, and every single event after that only grew bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think for me, when you guys started like with when you guys worked on the Holt AI Society, I think for me that was like one of the largest events that I've personally like attended here, especially for student events, right? Because there was quite a lot of people. Holt space was literally packed that day, right? And I'm wondering like what you guys had to do, like what was your set? What did you had to sell? What did you have to tell people to say to convince them and say, well, oh, this I have to be there for us to have so many people come in. And we're not just talking about students, we're talking about product managers, engineers, top product leaders in top companies like Google and Apple. They were there. This is a part where we talk about product market fit. Like think about Holt AI Society as a product right now. How are you guys able to sell Holt AI Society that made people to come in so quickly, and not just come in so quickly, but came with so much energy as well? I'm actually very curious about that.
I feel like at the beginning it was a lot of, since we were like trying to figure out like what was the right messaging that we were trying to give to the students at the beginning, it was a little bit difficult for us like to attract students that would naturally just come over to the events. I remember we were really pushing, like we were even going to different classrooms and giving them like those little at the very early at the very early
time incentive technique.
Yeah, we were trying to promote our events using food and like literally knocking in like the rooms, like the
Seriously?
the meeting rooms, like, hey, like there's an event, like would you mind coming in, like there's this big guy. So it was a lot of, definitely needed to like fine tune that piece, because actually I feel like the tipping point was when Santiago came over and he told us, like gave us like this perspective from the students, right? I think like before, when we first started, like we were too fixated on what we were trying to, like
what we were thinking.
What we were
that
thinking.
was the most valuable thing that people should learn, not what people actually wanted to learn.
And Santiago told us, like, hey guys, like you probably need to think about it the other way around. Like you have to think about it like from the student perspective. Like why would they go to the event? Like what are they getting out of the event? So after that,
so if I come in just really quickly, so Santiago acted more like an advisor in this case right now.
He did. I mean, because I think he's got a company back in Colombia, and it's around marketing. So he truly understood the concept of like, hey, you're talking, you should really put yourself in the shoes of the consumer, like the user, and then try to market it that way instead of the other way around. So I think that after we got that little shift of perspective, we were able to like now actually hone down into like the messaging, like, hey, if you come to our event, you're gonna get this and this out of the conversation. And I think like after that, like it just like naturally became a little bit easier to capture that interest from students. That's how we started like being able to level up every single event that we did.
But there's also, of course, more social proof that comes in. The more events you run, obviously, the more track record you have.
There's that.
More people joining the room. At the end, we had a team of, I think, 9 people plus extensively, I think, 30 volunteers at one of our largest events where people just chipped in. And I think there's like a turning point of when you start a movement, it's very hard, and then at the end it becomes easier and easier. And you see that around in this space too, right? I mean, we threw a big hackathon here with like 1,200 people together with Google a couple months back, and there was nothing in this building. It was empty. And now we come back a couple months later and it's filled with stuff, because everybody understood, hey, this is a great place to be at, and people are contributing. And similarly, I think that's what we did. I think over time we put in the work, long hours, knocking on people's doors, reaching out to a hell lot of different people around the Bay Area that had very prestigious names, trying them to come in and bring in people from Stanford to speak, bring in people from Apple, all of that. And then over time it just grew a reputation. And we also operationalized the entire event organization. And
we have to say that also it came also with a lot of people that supported us, like everything from the school, trying to be super responsive about like letting us the school or the space in the weekends, and of course like the people who ended up like joining or like following the vision. These people that we were bringing were also we were super thankful that they agreed to come to our school when we were just a handful of students. And so it's like very, very nice to see this spirit in San Francisco. I have to say, like as Hendrik mentioned before, like everyone's here to give forward, and it truly showed during our events. And I think like that was like truly honestly, like I think like the success of this entire community was because like everyone's so open about it, like everyone's like willing to contribute.
Yes, but I think there's also a point to which we set the values of the community that we wanted to build in the ground, and we made that very clear.
They definitely shared the vision too.
So for us, there was actually another person, Federico, shout out to him, involved, that we were the 3 guys who are running this club. And one thing that we set in stone as our core values was that we would always welcome everybody to join, and there would be no exclusivity of people who
Rico from Holt. Nice, interesting.
I think that was we made that very clear, even though when as the community grew, certain members felt like they were entitled to more at certain stages because they were contributing more, and we made sure that even these disputes that happened, we resolve them by stating very clearly that everybody is welcome, doesn't matter which part they contribute, and that the mission is always to share everything that you have in terms of knowledge and resources with everyone who's in there, and make sure that everybody can take part. And I think that's another part. That was another key metric.
Yeah.
Talking about, I'm just going to piggyback to like what you said about operationalizing the whole idea of the community, because I mean, like we rightly said from the beginning of this podcast, one of the things that we're saying is that it's one thing to have an idea, it's another thing to execute it, right? Now, but in the process of having the idea and then you actually do a test run, which in your case maybe with the AI hot AI society, which was a huge success. I'm sure there were certain things that you started seeing or you noticed over time in that short period, when you using planning the event and then the event actually started and then you finished. In that short period, you would have probably seen a couple of things that you would have thought, oh, well, if we have done it this way, maybe it would have been better, or we did it this way and it made this result, right? It gave us this successful result. In the process, in the idea of operationalizing it, what would you say, like, if you're to say, like, maybe one thing you took out from the event that you think you would have done better? That's one. And then one thing you think you did in the event that made it a success. What would they be? So one is, you probably, when the event started, there were some challenges you saw, right? And in your mind, you're like, oh, if I had done it this way, we probably wouldn't have had this challenge. That's one question. What would that be, right? And then in another scenario, there was some things you probably saw that made it super successful, right? Maybe advisor Santiago, for example, you brought Santiago at the last minute and then he gave you this advice and then he was able to like make this happen. Were there other things that you probably saw along the way that you think that it was this action that we took that made it a success?
Oh, that's a good question. So retro perspective, I think there's a lot of things that you can do better when operationalizing these type of events, in terms of like the commitment that you ask of people, the certain processes that you go through, and these things, there are a lot of patterns, and I think we become naturally better over time in operationalizing them. But putting that into a rigorous raster and really figuring that out, I think that's been key. And we certainly didn't start there, but we somehow ended up there over time. So there were incremental improvements that made a lot of difference. In terms of, I think, what worked really well, what we did well is that me and Aaron, we have a natural talent for motivating people and putting them into a spot where they feel very comfortable. So we've never pushed somebody to do something that they didn't want to do or that they were not made to do.
Yeah.
So and I think we truly made sure that these people excel in the tasks that we've given them.
Nice.
I think that something that we also learned along the way and that really helped running events was just having like a proper document where you outline everything. Where, for instance, like the biggest event that we did at Holt was the hackathon, and we had a lot of people involved. So before that, I don't think that we did this like documentation piece where we had like the agenda, we had like the different
put together.
Yeah, like we pretty much like really tried to dissect the entire event.
Yeah.
So that then we can identify like, okay, what people do we need at what time, doing what.
Yeah.
So I think that really, I mean, like I think like it's like every other event planning document, but that really helped everyone understand like what they should be doing, where should they be. And I mean, like, because of that, like the event went like flawlessly. Like everyone said, like it was so well organized. Having an agenda is super important. I think that something that we could have improved while doing these events was, I think communication is key. And I think like we were always communicating, but I think that we were also sometimes like running a little bit ahead of ourselves, like with certain decisions that we were taking, especially when dealing with like, I guess like in this case, Holt or like the venue management. That's when we were running into like some problems of like, we were like too fast, like we were running too fast, that we were causing a little bit of
Stakeholder management.
Yeah, stakeholder management. So I feel like something that we could have done better was like probably like also slow down a little bit, just communicate everything that we're doing and then continue. But we were just going so fast that we were just like not realizing how much we were like not putting in the table and like giving that visibility pretty much. So I think that could have worked.
Yeah, and then you might think that's more of a juvenile problem that comes up, but you'd be surprised how many events around here are not running on that type of structure and that type of documentation, and how easy it is to lose track of these things. over time.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, fine. Let's take this a bit, like, let's take a step back a bit, right? Now, Aaron and Hendrik have been talking about like how they've built like a really amazing community here in the Bay Area, starting from, the Hot Hackathon, which was a huge success. Now, let's talk about an idea, right? I'm sure you've faced a couple of things, challenges and stuff like that you've learned along the way, like some of the things, I mean, you just mentioned one right now too as well. Let's talk about an idea. If you have to think about something that could probably take all of these challenges away from you, all you just want is a piece of software or a product that could basically productizing your idea of the society that you have right now, like, what would that idea be? I'm curious to know, like, have you ever thought about maybe building a software, like maybe an idea that could probably make everything just change the game for you, right? And not only just change the game, you test it, you realize that this is monetizable, and then you figured out that, okay, well, if it works for me, it can work for a lot more people in the Bay Area and outside the Bay Area, and then I can monetize this and begin to make money, right? Have you thought about an idea?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I think there is, especially here in the Bay Area, there are a lot of communities and there are a lot of community leaders. And I think there are very few places around the world where monetizing a community is as fruitful as it is here. So I think the prospects of such a product sound to me very interesting. I think let's start from the basics. So let's think about the pain points that people have that build communities around here. And one thing that we experienced, and we also see that because we are part of a lot of other communities around here, is just the pure effort that comes with managing a community. That means maintaining the engagement in the community, growing the community, making sure people contribute to the community. All these things are extremely, extremely hard to maintain as soon as your community hits around 500 plus members. So there is a certain need in the market for sure for a product that helps people to manage these larger communities.
Yeah.
And probably AI can be of great help to envision such a product that helps you, I think, just to figure out how to bring more value to your community. And maybe we can expand a little bit on that idea.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I also think like from there's like also like a big problem part of that community when you're part of this group. And how are you able to not only engage but also engage at the right time? Because like there's like I think like sometimes like there's a lot of ideas flying around in the community, but it's just like being able to be part of like the right conversation. I think like it is also sometimes like a little bit
especially now that there are AI tools everywhere. You can just spawn up an idea right now and you think, oh, you can actually begin a startup with that. There's just a lot of like noise in the space right now.
Yeah.
I think that it's one of the reasons why it's actually very essential that, we have spaces like this where we have ideas. Obviously, there are many ideas out there, but then how do you have like people who probably have gone through that experience before? Because the same way you're thinking about the same idea, someone else, like 1,000 more persons are thinking about the same idea. But the most important thing is that who is able to execute it and who is able to execute it right?
Yeah.
So having a space where you have like product managers, engineers, designers who have done these things before, they understand the rudiments that comes with the challenges that comes with building a product, right? We can actually dissect some thoughts about it and figure out like, okay, if this thing is actually buildable in the first place, or if it's buildable, what would be the next step to take, right? So I think that's one of the things that we're trying to do here. And I like that Hendrik have been able to kind of like, spawn up something right now. The next thing would now be, let's really start dissecting it. Like how do we begin to, let's choose the idea. Let's probably call it a name. Think of how you go to ChatGPT and say, hey, this is something I want to work on. And then it spawn up like a new name for it and stuff like that. Let's go deep into it and then get a name. And then we get to kind of like look into different perspective on how this can be built, or it may not be built. So it depends.
I'll let you come up with the name. In the meantime, I talk a little bit about the product.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So as I said before, I think there's, to talk about this from the methodology point of view of a product manager, we want to really map out the problem space in order to understand how we're going to build the perfect solution.
Yeah.
So we talked about the fact that we want to build something for a larger community, 500 plus people. in those communities, there's a lot of noise, naturally. And like the Frontier Tower is a perfect example. There's so much going on. We are on the 16th floor right now. There's one floor below us. Every floor of that floor is a community.
Yeah.
So I'm part and preview to some of these communities here in the AI community, and as well as the general chat, and I'm overwhelmed. There's so much going on. People are going every day, and I'm actually missing out on a lot of cool stuff. I've been to one of their really cool events. Lastly, I just heard about it weeks later. And the problem is, I think that I don't want to be part of all the conversations that they have here, but I want to be part of the right one. So it'd be great to get some kind of filter or notification if there's something that matches my interests.
Yeah.
And I think that would be very, very valuable for me to personally.
So if I get you right, the idea you have is something like, being in a space where obviously you have like different people thinking about different things, but now it's not just about thinking about things. You actually have people who have different ideas, but then you have a community for those ideas. So if I have an idea, you have like 5 or 10 persons who really like that same idea, and they have different experiences, different skill sets that can come in together to build that idea. So you want to be in a space where all of these things are happening, and then you can now select which one you want to be a part of and then get involved with it. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, and
You're free to break it down if you didn't get it at first, but
I think like if I'm getting this right, I think it's a little bit more towards, okay, there's this list of conversations that are happening at a certain given point in a group chat. How can I be part of the right conversation at the right time? Because I totally agree with Hendrik here. There's just a lot of people, and maybe sometimes like the ones that are engaging in the group chat are like maybe certain people, but there's a lot more around, or like there are more people within that same community that would like to participate on those conversations, but they're just getting lost. Like they're not able to catch like the right message, or they just get overloaded with this cognitive overload. I think that's how they call it.
Right.
So I think it's a little bit more about like, and the problem with that is that they're missing out on that engagement from other community members that otherwise would also chip in, but because of all this noise in this group says you're not able to like catch up and not able to like contribute where it needs to be. I think that's a little bit where it's heading.
Okay, that makes sense.
do you have a name now or what?
Yes, that's right.
So what name are we gonna give it?
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Community pace.
Community pace. That's a good one.
That's not bad.
Maybe like Catchup or something.
That's nice.
To catch up.
That's really
There's
nice.
like
What do you guys
catch up.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, could be.
Hendrik, what do you think?
Yeah, put your names on. I think Catchup is good.
Catchup is good.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Okay, so we have like community pace, we have Catchup. Obviously, maybe you guys could
Stand out.
also put it in the comments and
Stand
let
out.
us know.
Yeah.
Does that stand out?
Stand
Stand out. So we have stand out, Catchup, community pace. Leave in the comments. Let us know which one will probably make sense for this idea that Hendrik and Aaron just came up with. I think it's going to be a very nice one. Obviously, by the end of the day, we'll know if it's going to be buildable or not. But yeah, we have 3 names right now. So leave it in comments and let us know like what makes sense. Okay, now we have a name. We have at least a description of the idea. And we have 2 people who have experience in this, right? Now let's talk about how do we productize it? How do we make it a product? Do we want to make it more of like a B2C product or a B2B product or a B2B2C product, or want to make it like a physical product, like the way we have in Frontier Towers, where we have like the whole floor as what this idea is technically, right? But what would be the best route to take in a product like this?
Well, this is, the way I'm envisioning it right now, it's an integration. So we're building this for the community leaders ultimately, because they will be the ones who have the access to, the WhatsApp groups, the Telegram groups, the Discords, the Slack channels.
It would be a B2B for sure. B2B SaaS.
Oh, why do you want to go B2B route though?
I think like a community, it's usually, for instance, like Frontier Towers is like it's a community, but that operates as a company, right? They have to manage a lot of people. They're renting the space, this building itself, so they operate as a business. But they have a community, right? So I think that if we're thinking from the perspective of like, okay, who's the actual end customer? I think would be someone who is responsible for the community management within a company. It can be anyone, actually. It can be any startup, because startups also have Discord groups. They also have Slack.
Yeah.
So the one making the decision would be someone within the company.
Yeah.
So therefore, it needs to be a B2B.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about, like, that's the actual customer, right? Like, that's the one looking to, keep the community engaged.
Yeah.
Trying to include everyone and include everyone into the conversation. So there would be the ones like having that need, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's where I would start. I think there is a B2C route if you so want. If you hit critical mass and your product is so good that people are like, oh, I want to be, and I mean, you have that urge here. People want to be in a community urgently. And then if they join a community and they have the feeling like they're not getting what they need out of that community, but they do see the value, maybe they would purchase a tool like that to help them filtrate and get into the contact with, the things that they need in their community. But I think that's a very tough sell. So I think I see a lot of value for a tool like this, an AI agent, of course, that works in that way. And I think there's two sides of value that you provide, right? First of all, you provide value with a tool like this to the members of your community who are then engaged in the right conversations,
Right.
but also to the community leaders, as you can probably track that engagement, and you can identify your hidden champions in the community that post a lot, that maybe contribute a lot, that support, comments, like, subscribe, all these things.
That makes sense.
And I think like it directly ties down to their KPIs, like their overall goals, like increasing the number of community members, reducing churn, and increase retention rates. And I think like those are completely, I guess like the whatever idea we're trying to create should definitely address those KPIs.
Yeah. Talking about like the product market fit for this idea, right? What you guys just mentioned, right? We don't have a name. We have 3 names now, so we're not sure which one we're going with. But maybe we'll go with Catchup. We'll call it Catchup for now. So let's say with Catchup, right? Based on some of the experience you guys have had, right? How do you think Catchup is going to like work in an actual product that you guys are building now, for example, right? You've experienced a lot of things in the community side of things, but if this product Catchup is productized and it will make it like a B2B product, right? How do you intend to like use it in what you're building right now? And how do you want to sell it to someone else or to another company for them to use it and it makes some really good value for them as well?
So I could start by saying like something that we learned throughout this entire community building, and of course like at our jobs, is that I think that technology that adapts like to the current behavior or like the current ways of customers, the way they interact, like we shouldn't change that, and instead we should like just add another layer on top of that. So I think that there shouldn't, I mean, and maybe this is something like of a debate, but I don't think that we should have a separate platform for creating that community. Even more so because like we already know that these communities are living already in Discord and Slack and WhatsApp and all that stuff. So I think that first of all, like in order to productize this, like we just need to be a layer on top of these apps. Like we shouldn't create a new app. You don't want another app. So I think like that's one thing that we could say. Technology that blends in like already with what they're doing, it's perfect.
Absolutely. I mean that's that's one thing that we work very. The current market just demands for anything that is seamless.
So when it comes to like integration, right? So partners, people that you're going to be looking at with respect to partners are going to be like Discord, Slack, WhatsApp, and the rest of them. Like are those like possible partners you think would be beneficial for a product like this?
I mean that's just to go where the community lives, right? I mean that's one thing that we hold very dearly. Also in the way we develop our products at Enable is that we try and narrow the market down to an individual persona. In this case, for this product, if we were to build it, I would hone in on the community leader. Just think about a community leader in this space here. What does he or she needs to go through every day in order to make her life easier, in order to make this community here grow, and then think about the pain points that they have. And as it so be, we know these pain points very well as a member as well as a leader of a community. And in this case, I would really try and start there.
I also think that you mentioned something very important. I would hone down in doing one thing and doing it very good.
Yeah.
That's also one thing that we've learned. Like, I think like if we're going to do this product, and maybe this is something that we can start discussing, right? Like what's going to be of course we know that's for the community manager, but what it's the actual feature, like what's the benefit, right? So I think we could potentially start from there and just brainstorming and just throwing something out there. I would say that one thing that we should do really, really well is having the ability to let a community member know when they should be part of a conversation at the right time. So that could look like, you have your group chat and Discord or whatever it is. Like there's a bunch of messages like, flying around, bum, 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 bum. We somehow need to know what's the profile of every member. So maybe there's going to be like an onboarding experience separate from Discord, but just like something very basic where we get to know what the member, like what's their name, what's their background, what's their experience, what are their hobbies, what they like, what they don't
Doesn't
like.
even need to be separate from Discord. I think it could be your AI agent, so that you, as soon as you opt in for that tool, if you opt in for Catchup on your community, and Catchup comes in, sends you a message that introduces itself, you have a conversation with Catchup. You tell them, hey, I'm Hendrik. I'm on my free time I built on this AI education platform. This is kind of the tech stack that I'm using. This is my background that I already did before. Generates a profile in the background for you, and then we can get into matchmaking. That's another great side thing that we could be eventually after. But there many people are doing that already. The thing that we should focus on first, I think, for this product is then to say, like, okay, based on your profile that I have now saved, is I'm going to send you notifications when, for example, somebody posts something valuable for you. I'll give you an example. I'm part of this huge community here called the Large People Model in San Francisco. And the other day I was looking in there and I was just browsing through some of the things. And I normally don't have time to browse so far, but this day I did, and I found that they just handed out like what their community leader just shared a discount code for Claude Code for the next 6 months.
Oh wow!
And I totally like missed out on that. And I mean, so like something like that would have been super valuable for me to know. And if I would have gotten a short notification, then I would have just grabbed that out of that community because that's.
So if there's like a dedicated like a message that's directed to you specifically, right? When something like that comes in,
exactly,
that would be more beneficial than when you just have like random messages.
Exactly. So I think that's the greatest feature, and that's probably the thing that's the hardest to build as well, is finding that balance based on the customer profile. Because you also don't want to get too many messages from that bot to just about events that you're not really interested in, about some things that people are talking about. So that's, if we can get that one thing right, I think that I can see how people would adopt that in their communities here.
So, I mean, while you guys were talking, I was thinking about like a couple of things, because now this whole concept, we're looking at it from a B2B angle, right? But there was something you also mentioned when you said something about like reaching out to community leaders, like those who are the owners of actual communities, right? Now, I can be using Discord, but I'm not the owner of Discord. I may just be a community manager, right? Or the owner of a particular community. So it means at this point, going on the B2B side, there are obviously about 2 angles to look out for when you're doing like a research or maybe usability research and stuff like that, right? One is going to be the angle of, the community leaders who are not owners of Discord and the owners of Discord who might probably want to be using my API, right? How do you see yourself like, figuring out ways to solve these 2 problems, like bringing these 2 people together, doing research about how they would use this platform and build it in such a way that it is beneficial for the ones who's going to be integrating it via Discord and the community leaders themselves who's using the tool in Discord? I think you get on it.
I think that nowadays, maybe that's also one important thing. Like maybe we should just like decide where do we want to start, because I get like also APIs like tend to change like from platform to platform.
Right.
So probably we could start like with the one that's like most developer friendly.
Yeah.
And I think Discord is one of those. I think like they have like Telegram as well. And so maybe we can hone down on like maybe those 2 to begin with. I know WhatsApp is a little bit like,
that's a good place to start.
Yeah. I think like that's, I know WhatsApp is a little bit like Meta is a little bit more like tricky with their API. So I think that, and then I genuinely think that these platforms have built their stack to be super open in terms of integrations.
Right.
So I think that we wouldn't have any problems like creating this platform using
I
our
think
API.
I think the technical piece is one thing. I think what you're talking about is more stakeholder management. So you need to convince two people mostly. Like you have, and I think there's maybe a small variation that I would pose to your statement is you got to convince the AI leader to integrate it, and then you got to convince the community members to use it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the two layers. So the two pieces to the puzzle. And I think that's another thing about like building a product that we see people getting wrong, even here in Silicon Valley, where capital is flowing and so many smart people are around, is like really honing in on or making sure that you as the CEO or the entrepreneurs building this product really understand your market, because not only then you can also start a grassroots initiative, right? Yeah, we do have access to a lot of these people to get immediate customer feedback from those people who are our ideal profiles. So I would probably start there. I'll start with our own community, testing it out there. Actually be super useful. And then talk to some of our colleagues, our friends in the Valley who are, if they would be able to adapt this. And this is like a classic grassroots initiative that most people are craving for, but that is so hard to get access to.
Makes sense. So what would be like a best feedback loop management, right? Say for example, I have like a feature that it's not currently available in the app right now, right? Maybe I'm using it from Discord, but there is a particular feature that I personally want to use as a community leader, and I'm not able to get it. How would you manage feedback loop?
That's a good point. I think like maybe the easiest way would be just like to have a separate channel where we are part of it, and people can just like give us like that. Because like I think like sometimes like fortunately enough, like if we're building this product for communities, we're directly connected to the consumer. Compared to like if we were building like a different type of SaaS where there's like actually not a connection between us and the end user. But in this case, like there's already like a pretty open way in which like they can reach out to us. So, but I think that maybe, I've seen there's like also some pretty good platforms out there, like what is this name called? Canon, I think, or there's like pretty much like these platforms that allow you to manage better feedback by posting let's say a feature, and then you have multiple people like upvoting or downvoting that feature, because like, how do you track like repeated features, right? Requests. And there's platforms that already do that. So I think like they make it pretty convenient to like filter out the noise.
I think there's a lot of ways that you can incorporate feedback, and that's always the big questions, of course. But why don't just use, for example, in WhatsApp or Telegram, you have the simple thumbs up emoji. So like, was this tip helpful for you? Just post and react to that message with a thumbs up or thumbs down. That would already give you feedback immediately. But then talking in Y Combinator terms, I think there's no way around calling your customers and like having conversations with the early adopters of your technology to make sure that you hit the spot.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why we're doing this as well, because you can see so many different ideas are coming up, like how you can take feedback loop and stuff like that. And to even kind of like add to what Hendrik said just a few minutes ago, I remember one time where we're building this product and someone from how you put it on your Google app store and stuff like that, and someone had this issue where they couldn't do like a particular transaction, and they came in they could do a particular transaction. They loved the application. However, when they came to the app store, they gave it a 1 star, and then in the comment they wrote, "This is an amazing application." Right? With things like that, right? So and the reason why I'm pointing this out is because sometimes even feedbacks can be very tricky. Like feedback you get from users can be very tricky. Sometimes it can be very, very subjective. It might not it might not be the intention of what they want to say or what they want to communicate about using your application, right? So in my case, I would think that sometimes I feel like it's also better to, try to filter the kind of feedback you also get, right? In the sense that while the thumbs up can be very, very beneficial as well, maybe have like a place where they can also put like a comment to specifically say, oh, this is the reason why I gave it this emoji or stuff like that, because it didn't work for me or because it worked for me. And the reason is at least you're able to get like more information about it.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point.
Just shoot the message back to the bot in the Slack channel or like in the Discord. I
No, but I can see that point though, because maybe it needs to be a little bit more of a like a Reddit approach where like it's a
The
thread.
downvote and
Like if you have an upvote, downvote, but then you can also like, as you said, like add comments around that. Yeah, because I think like, and then when it comes down like to implementing that feedback, you also have to wait. Like how much time will it take us to build it, and like what's the benefit or like the impact that it'll have. So
Exactly. All right.
I think like if we're getting, there's got to be a way for us like to manage like repeated requests.
Yeah.
So that it's, visible as well for the users that, hey, like they're actually putting effort, or like they should be looking into this because like there's a lot of people upvoting this and expressing their concerns. Yeah.
Sure. Hendrik, do you have anything you want to add to that before we move?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking more about it because the goal is to have on Reddit you share a post and then people upvote on something that is static and public. The suggestions that Catchup makes to you is highly personalized, very dynamic, and only visible to you.
Yeah.
So you cannot really I guess you can use AI to kind of standardize these feedbacks and try to sort features out of them. But I've actually tried doing that. We implemented that platform before, and it's very tough to get a large language model to kind of, I guess it's almost like bubble sort. You're trying to figure out, okay, in which bucket, like is that a positive or negative or a neutral statement? And if it's positive, that's great. If it's negative, which feature request does that fit into? Or are they just ranting about our product? All these things. So getting into the weeds, you need to think about it a little bit more. But
I would also try to say, like, I think like it's important to note is that if there's already a platform that does it, I think that you should always like try to use it as well, integrate it,
exactly.
and just like, focus on like what actually makes sense, right?
Exactly. Like no need to rebuild something when you already have something that you can actually like leverage at, right?
I think I would say like just leverage as much as other technologies to make
the
your
only
like better.
downside I do have when it comes to like leveraging on other platforms, especially when it's too much sometimes though, is that when there's a downside, maybe downturn in maybe like the infrastructure, maybe there's downside and all of that, it kind of like invariably affects everything that you're building, and also your users are not going to come back and say, oh well, it's your partner that went down. They just couldn't use your platform.
Exactly. You're the face. That's a good point to.
Yeah, but I do think that leveraging like other platforms, where necessary, is actually also very good. Okay, so moving forward, we have like a few more points to raise on this product right now. Next, we want to talk about is how can this product be fundable? Do you think it is something that is fundable? Is it so unique enough for an investor to listen to it? Like, what would be the best way for you to pitch it? And you think that an investor would get interested in a product like this?
That's a good point. Well, I think we first of all need to have like a business model. Right? We need to have a business model. I think, if you're talking about investors, like they're always just looking into, doubling, tripling, or just getting more out of their whatever they put in originally. So I think that we would have to have a very compelling business model that screams
a business model that
catches up. Exactly, that catches their attention.
Exactly.
We would definitely also would have to have like at least like a few champions, like a few communities that we can prove like, hey, we already have these customers ready in line, like ready to use our platform. And of course like a plan in which how we're going to use our money.
I don't see too many problems actually. I think this product is not too difficult to make. I think we with enough inside knowledge and then especially the right context, you can probably build a POC relatively affordably. And then it's more about like really getting the adoption, and knowing the people around that. So that's something that I would put on there. But then I think the business model is exactly the right question to ask, and that here I think we need to maybe talk a bit more about like what's the value that we provide to these community leaders. We identified our ICP, great, one take. Now let's talk about the value that we create for them, and then let's talk about how they can leverage that value to monetize it, and how we can be part of that equation.
Hendrik, talking about POC, right? Let's move to like competitors. Like for example, this the idea Catchup, it's something that is actually quite remarkable, but how do you see like Catchup being a product that maybe some other company is doing? Like another company, if another company is doing it, for example, it makes it quite difficult to kind of like convince an investor or someone who might be interested to want to do it, because there might be another startup who is doing the same thing, or a bigger company who might even just be doing it as a feature, right? So how do we kind of like control that?
The most few competitors that I see is actually already in the bigger platforms. So Slack has a catch-up feature that users goes through all the conversations and shows you what you've missed. That's one part. Then there are other competitors that we actually know, friends of us who have businesses in that space, about Coffee Space. Shout out to Bazana. Great guys making matchmaking for co-founders based on their profile. So there are already people building on those edges as well. I think directly, I haven't found a tool that does exactly the idea that we spoke about. Otherwise, I would have implemented it, I think. But I think those competitors are definitely in that range. The advantage that I see is that I don't really see people at these larger companies so involved as we are here in this ecosystem of startups and building community, that I think they'll probably miss the point of what it's about. And that goes back to what we talked previously about, exactly honing in on that one particular problem and solving that really, really well.
Yeah.
I'll leave it some for Aaron.
I think that also maybe another, not a direct competitor, but like something that can also be can work as a substitution would be as simple as like doing like a Control A to select all the messages and then just like dumping that into ChatGPT and like telling it like, hey, give me like a summary of like what should I be looking into, right? I mean, like I guess like those are just things that you usually want to map out for you to thrive. I guess like of course like it's super valuable to do like maybe like a SWOT analysis. That also usually gives you like a lot of insight as to where you can like actually dive in and where you can fill in the gaps of these competitors. But yeah, like I guess like it would probably take a little bit more research. I really like the point that you made, Hendrik, about the Slack catch-up feature, that it's already there. So that's a pretty big competitor if we were trying to like build it on Slack. Yeah, that's true.
That's really cool. All right, so one last thing I would like to talk about is as an investor, let's take yourself, you're an investor, right? And you hear about Catchup. What is going to ignite that spark in you and say, well, I'm going to invest in these guys, right? I mean, we know the generic thing. They look out for a smart team and stuff like that, speed of delivery and stuff like that. But what's going to be that one thing, maybe from both of you, what's going to be that one thing that you think that you as an investor would see in Catchup from the very first pitch and you say, I want to put my money in there?
The communities are growing all over the world, and software adoption is based on community engagement. MongoDB is one of the greatest examples. They only grew their company where it is because of the community. So if you want to be part of the next wave of AI software adoption, you have to be at the forefront of building community. And this feature is going to set your community apart from all the other 1,000 communities out there.
Take my money.
Take it. Yeah, I think that it also needs to give them a sense of almost the urgency as well. Of course, like right now it's the right time,
right?
As Hendrik said, because there's a lot of communities.
Yeah.
So we have this product that does this specific thing better than anyone else out there in the competition. We already I would probably say like we already have like the top 3, let's say communities or companies who've validated our solution.
Yeah.
And we are set to, if we get an investment of X amount, we believe that we can get 100 more by the next year, like by the next few years, like, and trying to tell them like, we're confident that we're going to do this right. Yeah. If you give us the money right now, we're going to grow our community X amount, representing on X revenue. And
of course, based on some of the experiences that you guys have, that could be like another touch.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
I guess like it also depends like on which states you are. Like maybe if it's like for funding, like for building the first like enterprise POC, that's also valid. But they have to see that, hey, like this is the plan. Like with $5 million, we're gonna build a POC and we're gonna grow our base by 100 users and reach X amount of community members.
Nice. Hendrik?
No, I can echo that. I think with a strong business model that really highlights the value this brings for the community leaders, by enabling them to grow more users, and discover the hidden champions and really create so much value in their community that people are even, that they even are able to monetize membership in their community, which is a big step, that they are able to, make serendipity happen in their community, bring fruitful results, and then capitalizing on that. I think that's the route I would go with that feature.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I mean, this is quite a very interesting session we've had with Aaron and Hendrik, and I think obviously we've talked about like a lot of things, from the product market fit to partnerships, the prospective partners they will be working with when it comes to like building this new product idea that was actually just discovered from this session called Catchup. And then we also talked about like the investors, like key people that will probably want to be invested into a product like this and why, right? I think this is obviously one of the reasons why we're building Buildable as a podcast where, important, valuable conversations like what our guest here have been able to kind of give to us is what we're basically looking out for, right? So at the end of the day, the big question is, you've heard about Catchup, you've heard about the solution, the idea, obviously the challenges that came along the way. The big question would now be, do you think that Catchup is going to be a product that is buildable? And why do you think it's going to be buildable? Do you think it's something that is going to be fit when it comes to like product market fit? These are key questions that you can ask, and you can leave in the comments. Let us know if Catchup is buildable. If you think you would like to see a product like this, as a community leader, this could be a product that could be beneficial for you. So let us know in the comment if it's something that's interested or you and your community. And also, please follow up with our guests, Aaron and Hendrik, on LinkedIn. We're going to put that in the comment in the session so you can see that. They're on LinkedIn, they're on Twitter, whatever social media they're in for them, and you can get to ask more questions from them. I think you guys are open to questions and stuff, right?
Good job. Do you want to build this? Let me know. I'll be happy to chip in.
There you go.
So follow them on LinkedIn. Paravi is also one of our, the key people that are making this happen. So excited that we're able to kind of like have the conversation about this, and looking forward to the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.